boy with the GOAT. If you don't know me, you will, or not. We here again. Gonna talk about the truck market, car market, mostly trucks, since I'm driving a truck today. So we're gonna talk about. So a lot of people are complaining like prices of the trucks are too high, trucks have changed, and all of this is true. I mean, what do you guys expect? Things to stay the same over 20, 30 years? It's just not realistic, right? The truck has changed from just being a working tool for the working class people. It's now a new status symbol, just like how the G-Wagon was a status symbol or Cadillac trucks back in the day, right? Pickup trucks most of the time are to flex. If you see a pickup truck on the road, 9 times out of 10, it's not hauling anything and the bed is empty, right? It's just maybe girls. That's the only thing you're gonna be hauling, right? And the crazy thing about cars and trucks and all that, they're not chick magnets, man. I mean, as much as a status symbol that they are, like, not even to sound crazy, but like you attract more guys than girls if that's your thing. I mean, if you're into guys, cool, whatever, that's cool. But if you're trying to attract girls with this, 9 times out of 10, that's not gonna really work. I mean, it's more guys that'll come up to you and be like, dang, bro, that's cool, bro. Hey, man, is it deleted? How much horsepower are you making? Girls would be like, oh, he's obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? So always think about that. But back to what I was saying about trucks changing and everything. I mean, like, just look at every modern truck that you have, right? They all have touchscreen, digital displays, upgraded sound system. Like, look what I'm driving right now that has a freaking panoramic roof. Yes, that's one of my favorite things. I'm always gonna mention it. But trucks back in 2003, 2005, if you said that, oh, pickup trucks have full leather interior, massage seats, all that type of jazz, and you were telling me like it's basically like a luxury car, I wouldn't believe you. But times have changed, and so does the industry, right? And you gotta always adjust to the consumer market. So that's what you gotta look at when you're looking at these auto manufacturers that are making these high class, high luxury vehicles, but they're pickup trucks, right? That's what the people want. I ain't gonna lie to you. Do I want to drive a truck that's $60,000 and has a crappy interior, fully analog, and you have to plug in USB, no touchscreen, none of that? This is 2024. No, who wants to drive around with that? Everybody likes the screen. Everybody likes the updated interior, the ambient lighting at night. Like, ambient lighting in the truck is crazy. If you ask somebody maybe like 10, 15 years ago if their pickup truck had ambient lighting, they'd look at you crazy. But technology has developed. Even your base model vehicles like Toyota Corollas, Camrys, Honda Accords, stuff like that. All these things have upgraded like software, right? So that brings me to another point. When you think about how much upgraded software is in all these vehicles, right? You have to understand that things are gonna break, especially, I hate to say it, American-made vehicles, but they were never known to be the most luxurious. Maybe Cadillac, but like Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they were never known to be luxurious. So now that they're trying to blend that with a high-performing motor and truck bed and all that type of stuff, you got to know that certain things aren't going to work as well as somebody like Mercedes, who's been doing it for 20 years. Mercedes have had screens in their cars since 2003, 2004, versus, you know, Dodge, Chevy, Ford. They're just now getting to it like later in the years. So things are going to break. Things aren't going to work. Infotainment systems may be a little glitchy, whatever. Do I have any problems personally with mine? No. It's been pretty reliable. It's one of the more basic setups for this is not 2024, but while we're in 2024, out of the stuff that's come out, this is one of the more basic setups, and everything still works as it did from factory. Did older trucks have problems? Yes, lots of problems. So do you expect just because something's new, they won't have some type of problem? No. And if you're the manufacturer, I'm not saying that they do this on purpose, but you want your vehicles to break at some point, right? So that people can spend more money. We all know that this is a capitalist world, especially our country, the United States of America. is a capitalist environment. So that's just, it is what it is, right? So let's start with Ford. If you look at the 6.4 Power Stroke, right? The pistons used to shit the bed all the time. Blow the entire motor, done. Throw it away. Those were trucks where 100,000 miles, you gotta throw the whole truck away, because now to rebuild it is an insane price, you know? Look at that, I had to swing that thing. Yeah, so the 6.4, like I said, blow the whole motor. Most people threw them away after 100,000 miles. People who had those as fleet vehicles, they were like, oh no, this is terrible. Like, everybody knows the 6.4 motor, it's hard to bulletproof it. It has a lot of flaws. And this was a vehicle that came in 2008, right? We're talking about older trucks. You want to go even older, the 6.0, right? It had oil cooler problems, head studs. And people were like, oh, I bulletproofed it. But everybody knows, everybody in the diesel world likes to tune and delete, right? So once you start putting more power into these trucks, what are they now? Not reliable, right? So we can't sit here and say, oh, these trucks are terrible, when trucks have never necessarily been that reliable, right? Let's even go into the Cummins, right? The Cummins 5.9, right? It used to have injector failure, which is also catastrophic to your engine. Not to mention their transmissions were trash, right? All the way from like 2010 to 2017, if you look at it, especially the 5-speed, it's a terrible transmission for a truck, especially a diesel truck. If you're trying to pull something, your power band isn't as wide. Yes, they make a lot of bottom end torque for that straight six that they have. Semi trucks use it, but semi trucks have 10 to 13 gears. So if we're talking about the truck in a whole, not just the engine, trucks were never that great. Now we have 6 speeds, we got 8 speeds, we got 10 speeds. If you're hauling 30,000 pounds, you're going up a mountain on a 20-degree grade. 5-speed sucks. You're gonna be making terrible fuel mileage. Not that fuel mileage is that great in a diesel truck anyway, but you got to look at all these aspects. So let's think, like, were trucks that great, right? Another one. Let's go with, sorry, I'm on a really bumpy road in the city of Atlanta, you know? It's great out here. So the Duramax, same thing. 2011 to 2016, fuel injectors, head gaskets, same type of stuff, right? And when you're talking about diesel, these are very expensive repairs to do. So trucks were never that great. Yes, some of these are pre-emission trucks, and it was legal to delete them. And, well, pre-emission trucks didn't have emissions, right? So deleted was already a thing, and you just had to tune it. Maybe if you say it's cheaper, older trucks are cheaper to modify, they're cheaper to maintain, you could say that. But saying new trucks are terrible, I wouldn't necessarily say that, because the problems that diesel trucks used to have, especially, still, they're better. It's less problems, it's less catastrophic stuff. It's easier to fix and bulletproof these vehicles, if you ask me. So I think that's just my take on that. I don't think trucks have gotten worse. And another thing when it comes to trucks, if we look at how they've changed, besides obviously just the looks and technology, we have to look at how the truck itself has changed, right? Back in the day, in the late 90s, 80s, you had trucks, most of them weren't crew cabs. They were just extended cabs. The leg room has increased and the bed size has decreased. You can literally go look this up on Google. The bed size, I don't know, don't quote me on this, used to be about 15 feet average, right? Now it's like 9 to 10. They've cut down 5 feet of that to add more room inside the truck, right? That's why it looks like a SUV in here. Versus before, it might be a bench seat, no rear seat, long bed, right? So trucks have changed in that aspect, and you have to realize times have changed. And the horsepower obviously has changed crazy. We went from only being able to tow like 8,000 pounds to 50,000 pounds. Especially if your truck is tuned and deleted, please, that's light work. So think about that. So now it's time to answer the main question in the video. After all I've said, I pretty much answered it, but why are diesel truck prices so high? You have to think about it. Like I said, all the infotainment stuff. The emission stuff alone, thousands of dollars worth of stuff, man. Like the EGR, DEF, I don't even know how all that stuff works, but it's a very expensive part of the truck, right? So just adding that alone will add a few $1,000s into the overall price of the truck. Then you go into adding extra glass. Now trucks are made out of aluminum. I know Ford does that, right? Digital dashboards, massaging seats. So all these things come with an uptick. You're not just paying for that base pickup truck with just an analog and plug and play aux radio, right? They have transformed. They're not base model vehicles anymore. Most trucks, most vehicles nowadays would be considered luxury cars. They have all types of luxuries in them. If you got massage seats in your car, it's a luxury car, if you ask me, right? So once you put all those things together, you can't just expect to be paying $50,000, $60,000 maybe for a base model crew cab, maybe gasoline. But if you want a diesel engine, transmission, you know, obviously everything comes with emissions now. With all the emissions equipment, it's just expensive. And everything else that costs to make the vehicle is getting more expensive. So it drives the price up. And you have a high demand for trucks because everybody wants one. It's a status symbol. So when you put all those factors together, that's what makes the price so high. Stop buying them and the prices will go down. Seriously, that's the only way.